Hello and welcome back to the Spin the Rock podcast. I'm your host Angel, and with me today is my co-host,
Yes, Eugene.
just Eugene. Eugene, is this our first solo episode?
I feel like it is definitely of the season, but I think of the podcast also because I
Yeah,
feel like Vaughn is like always here.
yeah. I feel like it's either Vaughn has done a solo podcast with both of us. I've done a
Yeah,
solo podcast with Vaughn, or yeah, whatever. And so this is our first one where it's just me and you.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
History in the making after doing 3 years. All right. Today we're switching it up a little bit. We're taking it back to, those good old days of lunch table talk. Christmas break is over, holiday break is over. So, everyone comes to sit at the lunch table the first time and they're just saying nonsense takes, catching up on what's been going on. So that's kind of the vibe of today. So it might be a little bit shorter, but a lot has happened since we last came together. First up, how did you feel about those Christmas Day games overall, Eugene? I know we were kind of iffy on some of them, so how did you feel with the games coming to an end?
Um, I mean, I watched the ending of the Cavs and Knicks, which actually came down kind of crazy. Um, Spurs and Thunder. I mean, we'll talk about Thunder a little bit later, but um, it doesn't seem like the Thunder have a game plan. Or I don't know if it's for the Spurs as a team or if it's just they can't guard Wemby.
Mm,
Um, Chet is low key looking like a cone out there for Wemby at times. So that's gonna be scary going down the line and into the playoffs. Um, Assuming they meet deeper into the playoffs, but um, yeah, the Thunder. It's looking like the Spurs are the Thunder's kryptonite right now.
mm,
The Mavs and Golden State game, 'cause I did end up watching some of that game.
really?
Yeah. Because it was like surprisingly, yeah, the Mavericks lost by 10. It was kind of like, they're both like mid-level teams. Like I guess you kind of expect it, but there wasn't any like I don't want to say like flashiness, but for lack of a better term, like there wasn't anything like crazy happening in that game, but it was still highly competitive because they're two mid-tier teams.
Yeah,
Obviously, the Warriors coming out on top. They're the better team and whatnot, but it was also weird to see Clay back in the Bay not wearing a Warriors uniform. That was, interesting to see. My Lakers let me down, not too much to say on that. The Rockets are looking surprising to me, surprisingly better than I thought they would be with Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant's gonna be Kevin Durant on every team he goes to. Um, but the Rockets are looking for me surprisingly better than I expected. And then I don't think I watched any of the Nuggets or Timberwolves, but based on that score, it seemed pretty crazy as well.
yeah. See, I've watched almost every team except I actively made a choice to not watch Mavs and Warriors, which seemed like to be a mistake because the Rockets Lakers were the worst game of the day. It just wasn't
Yeah,
that fun of a game. Like I like seeing the Rockets play; they're a fun team to watch, but like nothing really exciting happened. It was a blowout loss, which like some blowout loss games I think can still be fun. Um, Not this one. I think the best game for sure was not Warriors, Nuggets Timberwolves overtime. Jokic drops 56, Jamal drops 30, and I'm like a little concerned because if it takes that much to beat the Timberwolves again, like what like now that like we have injuries and it seems like we've been injury prone a lot this year. This isn't our first time kind of being depleted, and this is Eugene kind of brought this up earlier. It seems like we're still good even without all the people we have, At the same time, I think it's been a little blown out of proportion where it's like every year the Nuggets do this where we win games because of Jamal Murray and Jokic. We're a high seeding. Our bench kind of shows up here and there, but at the same time, we go to the playoffs, and that's not enough to beat these teams. So, but that game was great. I mean, it sucks that since then we've been mostly seeing our G League team, um, but it was a good game. Uh, Cavs once again choking. I mean, what an atrocious way to go out. Um,
Utter choke, bro.
and to have the star of the night be someone whose name most people didn't know until that game, bro. Like, I guarantee you, if you went up to anyone before Christmas Day and you said, "Do you know who Kolek is?" They're gonna say, "Who?" They won't won't be able to tell you he plays for New York. They wouldn't be able to tell you anything. But that man didn't have a flashy game, but he had the great last fourth quarter clutch time performance, blocking Donovan Mitchell, hitting threes. Like that man locked in for that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know who Tyler Kolek is. But bro, he said, "I'm hooping on Christmas. This might be the only Christmas I hoop on." So he went out there and played like his life was on the line. But um,
Yeah, he really
I mean,
did.
he seems like at least since then he seems like he's been uh a decent role player for the Nuggets. So it'll be interesting to see like what they do going forward with him.
Mhm.
Um, as I don't know what his contract looks like, obviously, but you know, as he goes forward in his career, it'll be interesting to see, what the Knicks do with him going forward. So,
Yeah,
yeah, he was going crazy,
bro,
bro.
he was. It was a while, but all of them were. I mean, Jalen Brunson was hitting some crazy shots. I just think the Cavs. I don't know what it is, but they just can't do anything. Like, they are not clutch. This has got to be the least clutch team I've ever witnessed, bro. Like, multiple times have I seen them. They missed up opportunities. They were missing open shots. Donovan Mitchell going for a windmill. Bro, you're down. Like, why are you going
What are
for
you
a
doing in
windmill?
front of the wifey, bro? Like, come on now.
Yeah, no facts. It was just rough to see. I did learn because of him doing good. I learned it's the barbecue chicken guy, the guy who was in the report in the conference room in college saying it was barbecue chicken. From there, the reporter asked, "What's barbecue chicken?" He was like, "Use Urban Dictionary." That's him. So I guess I did know who he was. But I would say Nuggets and Knicks, Cavs were really good games. Thunder Spurs, like Eugene said, the Spurs are like their kryptonite. It's baffling to see how easily the Spurs handle the Thunder. And then I didn't watch Mavs Warriors. I will say Cooper Flag is starting to prove me wrong. It seems like he's starting to hoop pretty better than a rookie, and not as much to the height as people said he was. But again, that was never my problem. I'm not one of those people who thinks, this guy's gonna immediately change everything. But he is hooping way better than a rookie would hoop, and looks like I'm about to be wrong. Looks like he's gonna be nominated for Rookie of the Year at this rate.
Yeah, he's had some big games this season, and obviously with the Mavs looking how they're currently looking right now, I feel like it gives him, I guess, more of an advantage, to be the ball dominant player that we've known and seen him to be
Mm-hmm.
through his career up to his point, through high school and college. But um, yeah, I mean, it's looking like he'll at least be in the race. But also, rookie of the year in general is going to be an interesting race too, because I feel like
Oh yeah.
DJ, could still be in the mix. Um, oh, I had another name, I forgot though, but it's not going to be as clear cut anymore if these performances still transpire.
Yeah, I'm still a Canupo guy. I still think he can win it. Edgecombe, once again, um, kind of proving people wrong. I feel like that first half of the first very beginning of the season, he was hooping. Then he kind of went quiet, and now he's hooping really good again. The Pelicans rookies keep. I feel like they would be in this race more if they were consistent. It seems like they have one good game here and there, and then they kind of sleep. So like Fears and Queen, I feel like they would be in the race a lot more if it wasn't for the fact that they were inconsistent about their performances. Um, but yeah, I mean, Christmas Day, it felt like Christmas Day for the first time in a while. I will say it's always disappointing when you open Instagram that day and you see Bleacher Report making edits of what the jerseys would have been if they had them still, and you're like, I still think they should bring those back. Like, I do think the snowflake logo was cool, but like, come on, man.
There's so much more they could do.
Yeah, like it's like the badges they have for Depoy and Rookie of the Year and all that. Like, that's a cool addition. Like, don't get me wrong, but that's all it is. It's an addition. It doesn't necessarily like sit like doesn't quiet the noise of wanting Christmas jerseys back.
Yeah. And it's like, bro, at the end of the day, like, if the NBA is trying to make more money, release those jerseys because
Yeah.
fans will buy them, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And I mean, worst case scenario, the NBA wastes a couple jerseys on like what, like, let's be honest, bro. If they released those jerseys like 2 weeks before Christmas, they would sell out.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to make like a million. Just like do it for a little bit, sell out what you have, and then boom, everybody's happy. They just want to see it on their TV. I don't think everybody wants one and like, yeah, they just want to see it on their TV again.
Right.
All right. And then of course that brought us into the new year, which has been quite exciting. A lot of things have been happening, a lot of change. First off, the Thunder, like Eugene kind of already hinted at, went from looking unstoppable, went from looking like they could do anything to losing to the Spurs twice and then not doing as great since then. I feel like a lot has happened with the Thunder. I feel like you could kind of say what it is here and there, but how do you feel about the kind of tumultuous time they've had since that Christmas Day?
Well, I guess to start, as I mentioned to you and Vaughn in our group chat, I think I jinxed them, bro. I put one too many predictions up on our bingo board, and I don't think the 30-game streak is happening. 30-game win streak. What else did I put up there? I put up
Oh,
like a couple other predictions, but um, yeah, it's looking a little hectic. You know, hopefully they'll lock in um after the trade deadline and All-Star break. I feel like, oh, I said 73-9 too. Or no, I said 70 plus wins.
yeah, I have.
Um
And he also says SJ will break free throw record, which kind of brings up a talking point I was gonna bring up.
okay, bet. It's gonna be tough. It'll be tough for them, especially with them having 7 losses already. Um be a 70 plus win team, but
Yeah,
you know, I feel like they'll still finish at the top of the West. And I honestly, I really do think that they could beat the Spurs in a 7-game series. Um Thus them becoming repeat champions, which I still see happening. I think a lot of things would have to happen, you know, inside the organization and with every other team in the NBA for them not to become back-to-back champions.
yeah,
But I don't know. I still feel like Thunder are too good. This is their slump of the season. You know, every team has a slump in the
yeah,
season. It just so happened to be after one of, you know, a longer winning streak right before All-Star break. So now, you know, as the season slows down towards All-Star break, they'll come back, recoup, regather, get everything together, and then after All-Star break, I feel like they'll put the pedal to the metal and, you know, strap in for the second leg of the season.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like odd, kind of what's happening. I feel like there's three things I noticed with their downfall. One, you kind of mentioned it when you're talking about how the Spurs are their kryptonite. Chet against a good center looks like a cone. I think he's really getting exposed to how he pries off of the weaker centers in the league, and how he isn't necessarily, he's more of an offensive threat than he is a defensive threat. But he's offensive in a sense of like Kristaps Porzingis. Whereas like it seems like he can't really just live in the paint. And so every time like he's not stretching the floor and he's having to play in the paint a lot more, he's getting cooked. And like Wemby's showing that quite frequently, and then I think we've seen it again in the past, but I don't know. It's just like that's one thing. The second thing tying to your one of your bingo productions was SGA breaks a free throw record. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he's getting less calls. And I don't know if it's because he's changing the way he plays, or if refs are finally locking in, or if it's just like he's getting sloppy with his drawing fouls being drawn. Because it could be any those three things. He could be trying to rely on them less, and so he's trying to draw them less. Could be he's not doing a good job at getting them called, or it could be the refs are like on the lookout for it. Either way,
They're like, nah, bro.
yeah. Either way, he's just getting less free throw calls, which is like, I don't think. I think SGA haters hear that and they go, "Oh, looks like the Thunder are gonna be dog shit now because that's all SGA can do." I don't think it will hurt them that much, but when you take away a player's aspect of their game, like Klay Thompson, when he got injured and he couldn't be as mobile, like it hurt his game. So it's like if SGA is trying to do something different or just isn't getting the calls, it's gonna force him to adapt, and there's gonna be some growing pains within that time period.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like it's coming down to the refs, because even just like watching games around the league, and in particularly like I feel like Luke is getting less calls. I don't know if it could be my Laker bias. I think something should be a foul and whatnot, but I feel like from the start of the season to now, I feel like he's getting not a lot less, but a noticeable amount less of fouls called for him. So I feel like it could be the refs, but you could also be right. He's changing the way he's playing and things like that. Not trying to rely on foul calls and being at the free throw line, but also like free throws can win you a game. So it's like however the calls are made, could be the deciding factor in a game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the refs are locking in. I feel like it'll become more evident though in the second half of the season.
For sure. Yeah, and then I think the last point I thought is Jalen Williams is back, and so they've been playing without him for majority of their win streak. He returned not too far long ago, so they're probably just trying to get him back into the system and see what they need to work on. And because let's be honest, when the Celtics, Pacers, when they bring back Tatum or Halliburton, it's gonna take a little bit for them to learn how to play with each other again, because Jaylen Brown right now is an MVP race candidate. Like Jaylen Brown is, of course, SGA and Jokic are 1 and 2, but Jaylen Brown has been majority of the third man in the conversation. And so same thing with Jalen Williams. They had a 20-game win streak before this, and this man has yet to play with them. Of course, they're going to have some growing pains and having to reintroduce them to the system they've been doing all year.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people, I feel like, at least what I've been seeing, a lot of people are blaming him for, the Thunder's woes. It's like, bro, come on, bro. He's getting paid millions of dollars. Literally play the game he loves. Like, it's not his fault. It's not his fault that he necessarily got hurt for, I forget how long, but, for X amount of time, and then he's got to reinsert himself back into the team chemistry. But obviously, it does hurt when you're basically reissuing a starter back into the starting lineup who hasn't played with the starters in literal months.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously that'll hurt team chemistry a little bit, but I definitely didn't think it was going to hurt this much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they lost to the Hornets, bro.
Yeah. And it was a bad loss. Like it wasn't a 1 or 2 point loss. It was bad.
And like the Spurs make sense. Hornets is crazy. I just think it could be all three of those things. It could be one of those things. It could be none of those things. But I think the Thunder, they're just too good. They're just way too good for them to be written off as quickly as they have been written off. Like we're not like this isn't gonna last long. Like they're already won 2 games back to back. Like they're already looking to be on fire again. So like to sit here and like SGA is finally like he's finally being exposed as a fraud, and the Thunder aren't all that after all, and the like Wemby and the Spurs are gonna actually are like kings of the West. Like I don't know, bro. I think we won't know for sure until, like you said, in the second half of the season. If they come back from All Star break and they're still looking slow, they're still looking kind of like figuring things out, then I'm gonna be concerned. But if we come back and they're back to business as usual, I think they're gonna go into the playoffs and cruise. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. I'll give them like a month after All-Star break,
Mm-hmm.
to get, readjusted and things like that. And then literally like March, April, and I mean this goes for every team though. Like if you're not at where you're supposed to be, it'll probably go to show where you're gonna be, whether that's Cancun or in the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like giving them that month to like not necessarily relearn themselves, but um adjust accordingly, and then see where they go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you also don't know a trade deadline. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen yet. So, I think,
Yeah.
like you said, giving it a month, giving it April, and seeing where they really stand is like, it's probably gonna be our best bet to see how the Thunder are gonna look going into the playoffs. Because if in April they're still losing, like a handful of games here and there, I'm thinking they might lose in the Western Conference Finals. But if they come around, they made some good trade moves, and they're looking like they're rolling again, I'm thinking the NBA champions. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll make any trades for the trade deadline, but maybe in the offseason, depending how their season goes.
Yeah.
Just to not ruin anything more, Like they already saw what happened with someone they've had who came back from a lengthy injury, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't think Presti would want to ruin anything more outside of that. But yeah, I think, man, if this trade deadline ends up being like, what we've already are beginning to see, the league might shake up even more and be probably one of the more interesting seasons that we've seen, in the past few years.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of the trade deadline, a lot of trade news is already circulating. The first one I want to discuss is John Morant and the Grizzlies open to being open for trades, looking to see what they could do. I think Eugene put it perfectly before this episode started. The whole NBA knew, but now that we have kind of confirmation, how do you feel about this move? And do you want to see Ja traded, and where do you want him to go?
Where do I want him to go? At least to a contender.
Mm-hmm.
It might be crazy to say, but for those who didn't see, Giannis said that he basically doesn't want to leave the Bucks.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there, maybe Ja to the Bucks. The Bucks trade. I don't know who, but the Bucks make a trade for Ja that could potentially help the Bucks, at least move forward in the standings, move up in the standings. Because they haven't been having the greatest season, and a jaw with Giannis, like that would be crazy. But I also do feel like if they do end up moving away from Jaw, Aaron Jackson got to get out of there, dog.
Yeah.
Like it literally only be him at this point. I feel like he'd have to get out of there, and the Grizzlies, unfortunately, have to go into a rebuild. I feel like that would be the smartest situation, smartest thing that they could do. Um, but the Grizzlies front office has kind of been a little weird these past couple seasons. So, um, do I want to see John the Bucks? I mean, whatever. But like, that was just the first destination that like came into my head. Like, I did say contender, but I feel like Jaw could help them progress up in the standings.
Yeah. I think realistically, I never wanted to see Jaw leave. Like, I always figured that he would not be a forever Grizzly, but definitely be there a lot longer than what it looks like he's going to be. Um,
Yeah.
where is he gonna go? I have no clue. I'm not really good at guessing where people go. Um, but I feel like if anyone who needs him and can afford to get him, I think the Timberwolves might be fun. Um, they need a point guard, and they need a pass first point guard. It kind of feels like at this rate. Because that's kind of what he was at first for the longest time. He was really good at getting people open. He wasn't, just dunking on everybody right off the bat. But I think another team that I think can afford him, I like. I really can't think of anyone else just because even though he's been in the controversy, I feel like the Grizzlies are gonna ask for a lot. Like that's pretty much was their franchise guy. I feel like Jaren Jackson has kind of taken over that role, but for a while it was Jaw's team, and so I feel like they would want something out of that. So I feel like maybe the Timberwolves, but other than that, I have no idea where he's gonna go. And I don't think there's a point in predicting because I would have never guessed where someone else who's been traded recently went.
Oh yeah, like it's so hard to predict like where someone will get traded. If there was a list of like how players in free agency they'd be like, "Oh, I want to go here, here, here."
Mm-hmm.
That's a much higher chance to predict because you have X amount of places.
Yeah,
Um, but in terms of teams, like bro, front offices are thinking about so many things and like
yeah,
like where do we want to send him? Who do we want? What do we need for our team? Like it's literally almost impossible. Probably is impossible to predict. But another team that I was thinking about, what about the Heat? Like I don't know what they have. I don't know their cap space, but I do know they need a point guard desperately.
yeah,
Um, but Pat Riley's gonna be Pat Riley, and he's probably gonna want more than what probably John Morant is even worth. You know what I mean? Um, but I feel like he would be a good fit on the Heat. Him, Tyler Hero, Bam. All them boys could go crazy. Um, I don't know who else needs a point guard, but I feel like he should go to a contender. But it's gonna be hard.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the Heat would be fun. Unfortunately, I feel like if the Heat made a trade for John Morant, there's no way they're keeping Tyler Hero and Bam.
Yeah, right.
That's like, and realistically, Tyler Hero's gonna be the one to go. But yeah, I think the Heat would be fun. Wolves would be fun. Bucks could be fun, but like, man, if it's like a bad terms trade, that man's not going anywhere he wants to be. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
if it's on bad
Or
terms,
what about the Hawks?
that would be interesting.
It would be like they just got, we'll talk about it, but they just got rid of their point guard. They no longer have a point guard. I was like, you know, I don't know who the Hawks would give up either, but I feel like that could work too, depending on who they give up and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks would be fun. I also, I also don't know what they would give up, but I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I feel like,
I'm I'm just thinking of or trying to think of teams like who need a point guard.
yeah, and there's a good amount this year. I feel like a lot of teams need a point guard this year. I feel like the Kings need a point guard, but I feel like the problem with the Kings is that they don't have enough.
They ain't got nothing, bro.
Yeah, like they they don't have a lot on their roster. I don't know what picks they have, um, but it's definitely gonna be interesting to see where he ends up, and if they do trade him midseason. I sometimes these rumors come out and they wait until the offseason.
Right.
All right, and then Eugene kind of brought it up briefly, but I do want to go deeper into this. Giannis said that he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to be for the Bucks for the rest of his career, which, in my head, should kill all the trade rumors that's been happening lately. All the trade scenarios I've been seeing people do. Like with Tim saying that, it should end, but the thing with trading is the player doesn't always have a say. So,
Yeah.
how do you feel about Giannis saying he doesn't want to be traded, kind of killing rumors of that, but do you think he will actually stay on the Bucks?
I mean, I don't unless the Bucks plan to rebuild. Like unless the front office says we need a rebuild and just start over, they're never gonna get rid of Giannis. At least it wouldn't be smart to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
nobody's going to Milwaukee under their own will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a big market. It has gotten bigger, but it's not in LA or New York or Miami. You know what I mean? Um like no one's saying I want to go to Milwaukee to play.
Yeah.
I feel like Giannis is the only reason why players might even think about it, you
Yeah.
know? Um so if they really still do want to contend, I feel like they need to keep Giannis. If they really don't and they just want to start over and just get rid of Giannis and then, start a rebuild. But I mean, as of right now, I see Giannis as a forever Buck. Hopefully maybe he is. He got him a chip. I think he's probably the greatest Buck of all time. Um, you know, he's got what, one or two MVPs?
Two MVPs, the Depoy Finals
Yeah, like
MVP.
he's got the whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
So I feel like they should keep Giannis unless they want to rebuild.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, him saying that is kind of disappointing. So I'm like, come on, like, we want to see you actually like contend again, bro. Like, I want to see one more Giannis MVP year. Just
Yeah.
like really see him do it all. But not only that, but like, if I'm the Bucks, I'm kind of with you. Do it if you're gonna rebuild, but you should be rebuild. Let's be honest, you should be rebuilding. You're 17-21. You have no first round picks. Like, you can't draft anybody anytime soon. You don't really have any stars that you can swap for other stars, except for Giannis. But like, if you want to keep him, like, might as well trade him for first round picks if you're gonna trade him. Like,
Yeah.
commit to the rebuild. So like, if I'm the Bucks, I think for the sake of the franchise, you need to trade Giannis and you need to like rebuild again and acquire picks because they have none. And so like, Giannis saying that doesn't make me think he's not gonna get traded because like, realistically, I don't know when his contract is up, but who's to say he doesn't walk away in free agency? Like,
Right? Yeah.
who says like maybe his contract's up in 2 years, and by the time this next year, he's like, actually, I do hate it here. Like we just don't know what will happen. Trae Young requested a trade, then he kind of took it back, and then he left again. Like he left anyways. So I feel like,
Yeah. And there were trade rumors for him for like 2-3 seasons.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like if I'm the Bucks, I'm kind of trading Giannis anyways.
Mm.
All right, and speaking of Trae Young, that man is officially had away from the Hawks. I never thought I would see the day he's been traded, but he has been. And he got traded to the Washington Wizards of all places for CJ McCollum. And I forgot who the second player was. But pretty much the standout was CJ McCollum was one of the trade pieces involved.
Corey Kispert was the other player.
Corey Kispert.
Yeah.
And then like what, 1 second-round pick or 2 second-round picks?
Something like that.
Yeah. How do you feel about this news, Eugene? And how do you think this looks for the Wizards and the Hawks?
Trae Young woke up one day and said, I want to get traded. I don't want to be in Atlanta no more. Send me somewhere. And he was like, if I could go anywhere, where would I go? I think I want to go to the 4th worst team in the National Basketball Association. That's where I prefer to go. And that's where the Hawks sent him. Why would he prefer the Wizards? No idea. I think at least what made sense in my head, obviously a fresh start,
Yeah.
Any team in the league would have gave him a fresh start. But I feel like this is like one of the most prime fresh starts that he could have got. Like, obviously this is year 8, I think, for him. Yeah, drafted in 2018. Year 8. So I guess especially on this team, he's considered a veteran. So he can go in with the veteran experience that he has, try and build these guys up. Maybe try and work with the front office and be like, yo, build around me.
Yeah.
If they see the value in Trae, which, I mean, why wouldn't they? They just traded for him. But, you know what I mean? So I'm really hoping this turns the Wizards around. Now, obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next season. Probably even the season after. But I think if Trae either extends or just re-signs with another contract is when things will start to turn around for the Wizards.
Yeah.
At least, hopefully. But as of right now, there'll probably still be lottery for the next 2 seasons.
I think, honestly, the craziest part is that this was his number 1 destination. And I think everyone's been asking the question, why the Wizards? And every answer I heard does make sense, but I just want to hear it from him. Like, why the Wizards, bro? Was it the young core? Was it that, the best players on the team right now are like wing players? Was it because I don't know. Like, I heard a lot of answers, and like I don't think anyone's theories are bad, and I don't disagree with any of them, but I just want to hear it from him. Cuz like,
Yeah.
I think if anyone would have like told me Trae Young's number 1 destination to be traded to was the Wizards last year, I'd be like, you're bullshitting me. Like, there's no way that's true. But he got there and he looks happy to be there. So I just don't know what he's seeing that we're not. I will say the young players on the Wizards are looking to be better. And I think it's the amount of vets that they have that's been holding the Wizards down. It's kind of been like purgatory. Like, all the old heads and the former stars are going there. So like, maybe now they can turn things around, build up these young guys more. But this year, I don't see them doing anything this year. I think this season is basically wraps. Next year, play-ins maybe, and I think the year after that, I can maybe see them being playoff regulars, contenders in the East. But that's like a big maybe. Like
That's if things work out
perfectly.
perfectly. Like,
Yeah. That's like if they actually do have a plan and they're sticking to it. But I don't see the plan. I don't see them being anything for still. Like I don't think they're gonna win it all. I don't think they're gonna be even a top contender in the East. I need to see it before I believe it. Now the Hawks, on the other hand, they might be doomed, bro. The Hawks might be doomed. I don't know. I don't really know how good of a roster they have without Trae Young. Granted, they were like 50, like even they were like 50% one percentage without him still. But I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think the Hawks are gonna be any better, and I honestly think they might get worse.
yeah, I don't think there was much value added in adding a CJ McCollum who should have been retired.
Yeah.
Not saying he's like washed by any means, but like, bro, go do your journalist work, bro. Go become an analyst.
Hmm.
But they definitely didn't get better, but I don't know if they're getting much worse,
Yeah. Same.
if that makes any sense. You know what I
No,
mean?
I agree.
Um, but it definitely wasn't much added value because like Kispert, he's got a strap, but so does CJ McCollum. Like, okay, they just added two more shooters. Who's gonna get him the ball? I mean, okay, like you got Jalen Johnson padding stats, but like he's not a point guard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The Hawks, they're gonna be even more interesting without Trae Young, especially because that's all we've seen from the Hawks for almost this past decade. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
And I also wonder what their plan is. Are they starting to rebuild? Like, are they? But if they were rebuilding, they would have gotten way more picks than they did. You know.
Yeah.
And are they just looking to pivot, build around Johnson instead? I. It's just like I get why the Hawks traded Trae Young. Makes total sense, but I just don't know how this trade benefited them and where they're gonna go next. Like you said, they're not going to get much worse. They're definitely not going to like plummet and be like Wizards bad. But like, I also just don't think they're gonna like. I don't think we'll see what they truly look like without Trae Young until after the All Star break to see if they do more trades. If they do more trades, or they acquire someone else, or they do nothing at all, that will give us more answers than a couple days out of what just happened.
Yeah, because I mean, it also might be like might have some like PTSD of sorts. The trades that they have tried just like have not worked out
No, not at all.
in the past. So it was kind of like do we stick with Trey and try and build around him, or do we just trade him away and do whatever we're currently doing? So, but I do think you're right about that. Like it just we'll see, depending on what they do or do not do, and that'll probably determine, you know, how they're gonna approach the future.
Yeah. All right. And that's pretty much all the big things that have happened since we last met. And I do have one more question for Eugene. How would you rate the season so far? It feels like it's been nothing but gas pedal since the season started. So how do you feel about this season? Where do you stand so far?
Oh, I mean, I've obviously like preseason we were gonna say like this is gonna be a big season, but I feel like it's been bigger than what we expected. We didn't expect the Thunder to essentially more or less be as good as they have been thus far. Like to even talk about competing with the 73-9 Warriors. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we didn't think we were gonna see another team like that, not necessarily in our lifetime, but in a long time.
Yeah.
all these 50-point games and things like that. These double, triple overtime games, things like that. Um, so I feel like the season has definitely, I don't want to say above and beyond our expectations, but they've definitely um beat what our expectations were so far, and I only think it's going to get better in the second half of the season.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, the second the season started, it's been like thing after thing after thing. Um, I think it's just also like the players are making the names for themselves this year is like kind of wild. Just kind of how the league is shaping up to be like all around, like the teams at the top, the teams at the bottom, the trade that's been happening, the rumors that's been going around. It's been kind of interesting. It's been kind of seems like it's gonna shape up to be a game, landscaping. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It looks like it's going to change the way the NBA looks for the next few years. And I feel like
Yeah, yeah.
it's been a while since we had a season like that. LeBron keeps dropping hints at retiring this year. Like that's wild, bro. I don't know if he is. I don't think he will retire this year after all. But the way he's talking makes it seem like he is going to retire this year. And
Yeah.
that's gonna change like everything, bro. That's like the face of the league, you know. So it's just like it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with the next half and what will happen in 2026.
Yeah. And like kind of going off of like um the uncertainties point, like there are a lot of question marks just in this season, which I enjoy. Um Normally I don't like uncertainty, but like there's no like runaway leader for MVP or rookie of the year. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In a lot of these past seasons, past years, it's always been, one or two or just one. Like Paolo Banchero's rookie year, it was only him.
yeah,
Um, so I'm glad that, that we were able to experience all of these uncertainties in the league because we can't see or we don't know. Obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
um it builds anticipation. That's what I'm trying to say. It builds anticipation.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, like at the end of the day, like we still have a trade deadline in front of us. We still have the All Star break in front of us. Like we still had the playoffs. Like if it's been like this the first half of the season, like we still had the punishment from the Clippers coming. Like there's so much stuff in the like window, and like they officially announced that they're returning the NBA floors. Like this could be like a very like insane year for the NBA and just basketball as a sport. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Well, that's all we have for you today, Eugene. Do you have anything you want to talk about before we end the podcast?
um Not really, but I did just see before we hopped on, or when I woke up, they're thinking about changing the NBA logo to LeBron
Really?
once he's once he's out of there. So
That's crazy.
I think I think if slash when that happens, not necessarily it being LeBron, but when the logo changes, I feel like so many things are gonna change. So
Yeah,
many things.
for sure. And yeah, there's a lot of things that came out since we thought that we kind of skipped over, kind of like the tanking solution that Adam Silver's talking about, KD's way of playing with the Rockets lately. But yeah, there's just so much that's going on with the NBA right now that like something like that is gonna be like if that ever happens, I think it's gonna be a sign of a new era for sure.
Yeah. And again, okay. I mean, there's no way to like. I'm not gonna put this on like the board or anything, but I think if slash when that happens, we'll see a new team in the NBA.
It has been rumored for a long time.
Yeah, like I feel like changing the NBA logo has also been or has been rumored for as long as being another team in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's talked about almost every season at some point. You know,
Hmm.
people want to see a new team in the league, you know, just to like change it up, shift some things. And then in terms of like, you know, Jerry West played so long ago. Obviously, like he's still alive and things like that, but bro was playing with farmers. Like, come on. Let's change it a little bit. Um but yeah, I feel like those rumors have been circulating for around the same amount of time. So I feel like when we see one, we're probably gonna see the other.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the logo change won't be alone. So whatever else comes along with it is definitely going to be groundbreaking. Hey, they're not playing in Vegas every year anymore. Maybe
That's
that's a
true.
sign.
That's true.
Maybe that's a sign. They're bringing a Vegas team, and Seattle's once again screwed. But yeah, I think those two rumors have been around forever. I'm just waiting for the day they come true, and I don't think I'll be mentally ready for when they finally announce something like that. I think it's still gonna blow my mind when they announce like the new franchise, a logo change. The other rumor that they've been spreading around a lot is like shortening the season, like
Yeah.
like any of those, if any one of those three things like actually come true, even though we've been talking about it for so many years, I'm still gonna be like, wow, I can't believe this is happening, because it's just like it's been talked about forever.
Right. And like like even as of right now, like it doesn't seem like any of it's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like when or again, if slash when it does happen, it's just gonna be like, damn, it actually happened.
Yeah, exactly, like LeBron retiring. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's coming, but when it does, it's still gonna be like, oh wow, I can't believe he actually retired. All right. Well, thank you for listening. If you're on that audio platform, make sure you give us that good old 5 stars, leave a review. We're on all podcast platforms, so check us out there. For video format, we're on YouTube at Spin the Rock, so make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think has been crazy, the most crazy thing since we entered 2026, and how you feel about all the changes that have been happening. We're on all social media platforms at Spin the Rock for clips, episode updates, all that good stuff, so check us out there. Until then, thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.